What's going on? It's Lawless Brothers Radio podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey.
And I'm your other host, Ryan.
Man, we got an interesting one for you guys today. This is episode 10, pretty big milestone for us, actually.
10 episodes. Consistent, dude. It's good.
That's really fucking cool, man.
Yeah. Even during travel.
The Discord calls, the equipment failing, figuring shit out on the fly, dude. Yeah, man, it's been really cool. Like, it kind of blows my mind that we're already deep into this. First episode came out on my birthday.
Oh, true.
March 12th.
Yeah.
And then fucking fast forward, and now we're
2
here,
months, dude.
Yeah, dude. May 10th. Pretty wild. But, super fucking happy and grateful, man. But this one is an interesting one.
We're going to have some fun. Hey, before we dive deep into, I want to shout out Whiteout for our brand new, I don't know if you can actually see, you can kind of see it a little bit.
We can
in the
see it a little
camera.
bit.
But as we add to the collection of memorabilia, we started off with the unboxing of the Jalen post-Super Bowl with confetti. And then my friend Caleb, shout out Leather Helmet Fandom, hooked us up with a framed, basically Sports Illustrated,
like commemorative issue
of another piece of Eagles memorabilia to add to the wall, and I'm sure it'll continue to grow. But just want to shout him out first.
Absolutely, man. So what a cool gift. What a great, piece, trying to make this wall look as not plain as possible. But, today we're going to get into the episode of the relationship with drugs and alcohol.
Cheers.
So, cheers, brother.
We're back, dude.
Cheers.
Espresso martini, thanks to
Denise.
She's out there.
Yeah,
whipping
so
it up.
we, as Ryan.
Tell her the idea. Tell him the idea that she came up with.
Dude, I mean, bro. So, as Ryan does, he travels up, to where I am so that we can record this podcast for you guys and, try to just, keep everything as seamless as possible. And we were in the middle of kind of bouncing ideas off of each other of, what we thought we wanted to talk about today. And my beautiful girlfriend, Denise, had this wonderful idea of, oh my God, it'd be so fun if you guys had cocktails on the episode. And then I was like, what? We don't want to get drunk or try to, slur over words or mess up or whatever. And then she was like, no, here, let's just see what you got. So pulls out the freezer of all our bottles of liquor and stuff. And I have one of my favorite whiskeys is this black cherry whiskey. And she was like, yeah, maybe you could do like Jack and Coke kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that'd be fun, just one drink. That'd be really, maybe it might lighten the tension, lighten the mood. And then she was like, no, how about a flight of drinks? So I'll do all these different mixed drinks. So you are going to see in this episode, intermittently, roughly every 20 minutes, she is going to be handing us a new drink, and I think it's not a challenge, but it's a bit of a prerogative for us to make sure we finish.
Which is crazy,
espresso
dude. Yeah.
martini. And then I think she has another drink.
New segment sponsored by.
New segment sponsored by
Lawless Brothers Radio.
Lawless Brothers Radio. Denise's bar.
Yeah, I saw the gears turn in her head, and I was like, let's just let it go. Let it fly.
Yeah.
Let it fly. She really wanted to do it, so we're just going to let it ride.
Yeah.
And, and talk about that. I mean, I feel like we were both, before this started, talking about how we, I don't really drink too much, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
And drugs as a whole is a real funny thing.
Yeah.
Being that there's some that are accepted, some that are awful for you and lead straight to just destruction and death.
Dude.
And some that have, properties that bring into a whole different dimension, the fourth dimension, in my opinion.
We will get in to that for sure. That was actually going to be the topic of this episode, but we had one sip of alcohol, and we said, fuck that. So we're going to be talking about more the relationship with, let's call them more common drugs, if you will, and then also alcohol and
people.
How that kind of affects us in our day-to-day life. And then, Ryan and I were hanging out earlier, and he brought something up where we were talking about different types of personality traits.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I think on one of the episodes of the pod, it might have been the last one or the one before that, where he said he does not have an addictive personality.
I don't think so. No, I really don't. I'm very good at I've had a lot of surgeries done. I've had a lot of experience with super heavy, narcotics and such and things like that. And I think that I'm able to see the effect and also able to, not let it consume me.
Yeah.
But through those experiences, I've also have been, able to tell how easily it is for people to get consumed by it, and I almost kind of don't blame them. There is a lot of very addictive personality or addictive features about some of these super strong drugs, and if you have that personality where you latch on and you're dependent, it could definitely destroy you, and I can see it.
Dude, 100%. And like with you having like literal firsthand experience, like knowing that the moment you took it, you were probably like, ooh, I can really, really see how this feeling could be like something that somebody would want to have all the time.
Yeah. As jump around and all over the place, the first one that comes to mind is actually Adderall. Adderall is literally a methamphetamine put into a pill, right? So you have different levels of this, but that's literally what it is.
Dude.
And coming from, with my gaming background, there's a lot of people probably still are in the gaming scene, but very addicted to Adderall because it just gives you this hyper focus. You do not need to eat food. You are locked in.
That's scary.
At all times, and it's relatively easy to get a prescription for Adderall nowadays. You just go tell your doctor you can't focus, and boom, you're a 12-year-old hooked on Adderall. Which is
that just really fucking rubs me the wrong way, man. Like, I mean, people like. We're going to get into caffeine actually a little bit, but the fact that people don't even consider caffeine a drug is crazy because it absolutely is. But how easily accessible, that quick tangent, but that reminds me of, again, I think this might be the second time I brought him up, but John Mulaney, one of my favorite comedians of all time. And in one of his stand-up bits, his friend was talking to him about, like, you should get a prescription for Adderall.
Yeah.
And John Mulaney is like, but I don't need that. Or he's like, I really want it, but I don't need that. And then he was like, well, no, just go into your doctor and make something up. And John's like, what'd you say? He said, I walked into the doctor's office. He's like, sometimes I get nervous on airplanes and I can't focus. And then John Mulaney goes in, oh my God, I could be completely wrong. I don't think it was Adderall now. I think it was Xanax. But still, he goes into the doctor's office and he was like, you know what? You have to mark something down for the reason of visit. And he's like, let me just do something that, like, I don't know, like, is pretty, simple or whatever. He's like, so I'm going down the list and I see frequent urination. So he's like, oh, I'll just check that box off. And he's like, and right next to frequent urination, it's how many times do you urinate throughout the day? And he said, well, I was thinking about numbers that made sense, so I settled on 11. So he walked in trying to get Xanax. He walked out getting a prostate exam.
Dude, I'm thinking right now, how many times do I pee a day? You know what I mean? That's an interesting question.
I think 11's a lot.
Is that a lot?
You tell me it's not?
I don't know. Maybe 6?
Yeah, maybe. I probably piss 4 or 5.
Maybe I'll start tracking it. For fun.
Next episode is going to open with, so Ryan and I tracked our peas on May 11th, 2025. Now it's time to pee. And that's what the opening's going to be.
Experimental purposes only. It's science.
Yeah,
it's for science.
For science.
Dude, back to the Adderall thing there.
Yeah.
You talked about, like, firsthand experience. I, don't care, open book. I've taken Adderall in my life 4 times.
Okay.
4 times.
All for gaming?
No. Only twice for gaming.
Okay.
I took them I took it twice at a tournament in person.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you know why people get addicted to that shit?
Why?
Because it fucking works, dude.
Were you a laser beam?
Yes, but I did learn, for me personally, it is not good for my brain in that setting because I was too laser beam focused on what I was doing and was not really there.
You have teammates.
Exactly. I wasn't playing the game. I was playing, firing range. I was shooting.
You're playing whack-a-mole
exactly,
by yourself.
Exactly. So for me, it really just wasn't like that thing. I've partied on it twice.
Really?
And that shit's a lot of fun, bro. You're not gonna sleep. You're gonna eat it the next day. But all that being said, is you definitely know why people get addicted because it fucking works, dude.
Okay.
Like you can not sleep for 2 days. If you had to do it for school and study or some shit, I could totally see it get done. Like you are in. Countless
stories, and I do know people who took Adderall for SATs, took it for their final exams. I've never, it's funny, we kind of mentioned a little bit a few episodes ago, but I was pretty very set on being very straight edge.
Yes.
So that stuff like that was something that never even really crossed my mind. But how would you say did you feel pressured in the gaming community to take it? Like, was it something like where you're like, fuck, I can't reach that next level unless I take it? Or what do you think? Or did one of your buddies who you played with was just like, yo, this is what I'm doing? Like, what happened?
So again, more to the premise of this whole thing. Like, I don't really get for real. I'm pretty good at not getting peer pressured.
Right.
And I don't have an addictive personality. So I was definitely never felt pressured to do so. It was more of just, I think, just like a fuck it situation. Like why not? Like, but I did not feel pressure, and I did not think like I said, if anything, I was playing worse on it. So like that was one of those things there.
Well, real quick, you said that you took it twice for gaming. Did you feel like what made you take it a second time then?
I'm trying to think right now. I know I took it for an Infinite Warfare tournament. I think it was.
I'm sorry. What did you do?
I think Infinite Warfare, which is a piece of shit game. I think I took it for one of those, and I was getting shit on anyway during that time.
I'd probably take drugs to even play that game anyway.
Yeah, I was getting shit on during that anyway. I don't really know. Like, great question. I don't know why I took it again. And maybe it was just like someone had it, and I was like, all right, fuck it. But good question. I don't really have a good answer for you though. But certified caffeine addict, man. I love caffeine. Like that's
Dude,
I was definitely getting cracked out on G Fuel and shit before tournaments and stuff like that.
Fuck
And that's that kind of world. But no, I don't have a good answer for you.
Dude, I just thought of something. Like, I think all the time that, like, me going to the gym 5-6 days a week, taking basically every day, like, in my head, that's what started my caffeine addiction. That is not true. Dude, I remember, like, you just saying G Fuel just unlocked a fucking memory in my head. Oh, my God.
This is ridiculous. Here we go. Thank you. That's absurd.
Cheers.
Cheers. I still have half of one over here, but
me too. Make it 30 minutes. 30. That is really good.
So we have
Did you sip that?
I did. An espresso martini and then cherry whiskey.
Cherry whiskey with Pepsi Zero.
Sure.
No sponsor.
Fuck it.
Where was I at? Oh, I remember now. G Fuel.
G Fuel.
So, dude, you were at one point sponsored by G Fuel.
True.
And G Fuel would get sent to our house.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of these packets, and I think a couple, maybe containers, maybe like tubs.
Both.
And you were not living at home at the time, and this is when I was getting into game battles.
Oh shit,
and, dude! There was a G Fuel shaker bottle.
Oh
dude,
shit!
I would drink G Fuel every single day before playing game battles. And then and I didn't even realize it. And then as I got into the gym, into lifting culture, into pre-workout, into ultra high stint, dude, it just like fucking my caffeine addiction just fucking skyrocketed. But my humble beginnings were G Fuel.
G Fuel.
Gamma Fuel.
Did you drink coffee? Like, no, maybe?
I got into drinking coffee probably more in my late teens. I was definitely drinking it inconsistently, probably from like 13 on. Like I did fall in love with the taste like early, but I wasn't like an everyday. Now I drink coffee every day.
Yeah, same. I love the taste of coffee.
I've
gone through waves of like, hey, should I take a caffeine detox? Right. Should I blah blah blah? And then every time I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. Let me.
That's when people say, all right, well then just get decaf. But then you just feel like a
that's
bitch.
Stupid, bro.
Yeah.
What
are we doing?
I'm not drinking coffee. Although I do enjoy the taste. I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but we were talking earlier today about like the whole matcha wave. We got these matcha girlies and shit now, and like it's still tea. Tea has like a higher caffeine. Some teas have a higher caffeine content than coffee,
for sure.
But I just feel like it doesn't fucking punch me the same way that a good cold brew does. And that's
I do need to get like fucking smacked in the face.
And that's what I enjoy. That's what I enjoy. Not literally. This is figuratively. This is metaphorically speaking right now.
Yeah. I just like getting rocked upside the head.
Yeah, just getting knocked out, dude.
So back to addictive personality.
You had mentioned you have an addictive personality.
Yeah, so that's where we were really getting at.
As similar as we are, I think that if you are self-aware enough to say that about yourself, I believe that I'm very good at not having an addictive personality.
And I am self-aware enough to know that I do have one. And that started at a fucking early age, man. So if anyone is familiar with the golden age of Madden and Madden Ultimate Team.
Madden, the video game, football.
The video game, NFL football. So I believe the first year that Madden introduced Ultimate Team was Madden 11. I didn't have Madden 11. I think it was literally the only Madden I didn't have. And then Madden 12, I played that pretty consistently.
What year is this in your life too?
Well, Madden 12, that means I'd be 12.
Is that 2012?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, because Madden 12 came out in 2011. That's how it works. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because it's like Madden 12 is the 2011-2012 season.
Right. Okay.
So it came out in 2011, so I was 12. And I was playing Ultimate Team like a decent amount, but like I'd never spent money on it. Like there was like back before every single video game became microtransaction like fucking heavy.
Yeah.
They used to fucking reward you for playing the game, and you would get this like in-game currency.
Right.
And that's how I'd buy packs and stuff. But then Madden, I would say Madden 13 is what really honestly fast forward after Madden 13, because I did play a shit ton of Ultimate Team, and then you can open these packs, like virtual packs, like they're like Pokemon is like coming back, like it's super popular. Sports cards are always going to be popular, but like ripping open packs, trying to find a valuable card. So Madden Ultimate Team is like the perfect mix of Madden gameplay and like fantasy football and trading cards. So like your ultimate team, you create a team with like every single position, quarterback, running back, and each card. So like for example, like if I have like a Jalen Hurts card, there might be like 10 different versions of Jalen Hurts. There might be like a 75 overall, then an 80 overall, then an 85 overall. So your fucking goal is to get the highest overall cards of like whatever.
Yeah.
And a really fast forward way to do that is by spending real money to buy Madden currency to then buy packs. And that really started in Madden 25. And I say that specifically, and I don't mean Madden 25 as in EA Sports. First, let me just go on a rant. They are so fucking stupid. Like, did they not think the year 2025 was going to happen? Madden 25 essentially was Madden 14.
It was the 25th edition?
Yes, they called it Madden 25 because it was the 25th anniversary of Madden.
I mean, whatever.
Fucking stupid.
Okay.
Fucking, I'm not going to say the other word. Fucking stupid.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
But it had Barry Sanders on the cover.
But smart enough to take your money.
Well, this is the key. So the year is 2013.
Yeah.
Madden 25 has come out. My mom, for Christmas, gets my sister and I, essentially, like, she gifts us $250 and, like, puts it on a debit card. And then, like, that's our new debit card. My mom, 5 days after giving this to me, says, Casey, how is your account in the negative? Because over the next 5 days, I proceeded to charge to that debit card $264 worth of Madden currency, and I ripped through packs so fucking fast, and it was so fucking addictive, and it only got worse as I got older, because then I got a job. Now I just have money.
Yeah.
And my mom would literally be like, where is all of your fucking money go? Dude, it got so bad.
She could also see your account, too. She would ask me about it.
Bro, this is the biggest issue. So we all went back into, when I was growing up, dumb, pathological liar, just fucking, it was a defense mechanism. It was fucking stupid. Bro, so every month or so, I'd get paid, and over $180 was going to fucking, it would say, Microsoft charged $80.
Yeah.
Charged $90. Charged $60. And my mom would be like, Casey, like, what are these charges? And I'd be like, I don't know. I have no idea, Mom. And she's like, well, let's call Microsoft. And I think I allowed her to think that for like 3 months. Because and I'll tell you why. Because I kept telling her, she was like, well, you got to call Microsoft and figure it out. And I was like, okay, I will. And then it would happen again. And then she's like, you got to call Microsoft, figure it out. And I said, I will. And it was just me. It was me. It was always me, Mom. I was ripping packs. And she one time point blank came up to me and said, Case, I've been talking to Ryan, and I don't think Microsoft's charging you by accident. And I said,
Yeah.
But I was like, it's my money.
Fair.
And that is honestly what really inspired me to go, fuck, I need a different bank account so my mom can't see my transactions.
Okay. All right. Fantastic story.
Thank you.
Now, what do you believe that this has led? So drugs, alcohol, gambling, they're all all hand in hand.
They're all
the one helps the other, helps this one, helps boom, 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 boom.
I never want to put 100 on a parlay more than when I'm out at a bar. Like it just happens because alcohol, you just become both grounded and looser. Maybe not morality wise, but the logical part of your brain just kind of takes a back seat. And you start thinking, I can just throw $100 on Shohei Ohtani to hit this fucking home run, and I'll just make it back. It's fine, you know what I mean? But
and he doesn't hit it,
and then he doesn't hit it, and now you're out $100, and then Prize Picks laughs at you. And
do you think that stems from these packs for you?
100%, because it's my sports knowledge mixed with my arrogance, mixed with the addictive personality of seeing that green say win.
Right.
Or bet one. You know what I mean? And I have made a decent amount of money over the years sports gambling, but I have also lost a decent amount of money over the years sports gambling.
I bet you they all have. Everyone has.
And,
right?
and here's the worst part,
I
too,
only lose,
is
so
the way that you justify it to yourself is, I only lost $10. Here's the problem. You can make $10 parlays in one night, lose all, and your fucking psychopathic mind is thinking, but it was only $10. No, you lost $100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then out of those 10, let's say you win 2, right? So, and you made 40. In your head, I still made $40. No, you lost $60. So, and then the worst part is when you do hit on a bet, the only fucking thing that your psychopathic brain thinks of is, man, I bet 10, I won 30, but if I put 100, I would have won 300. Oh my God, if I put 1,000, I would have won 3,000. And then you start getting mad at yourself that you didn't bet more, which makes you bet more and lose. And that would happen to me a lot.
Okay, all right. Do you feel the same addictive personality with drugs then? Like with caffeine, with alcohol? Like we were talking before, I really don't drink too much, to be honest with you.
Caffeine, yes. Alcohol, no.
Yeah.
I truly do mean this. I mean, we have 2 drinks in front of us right now.
It's a rare occasion.
1,000%. And I think what that has to do with is I spent a lot of the time before legal age drinking, that when I got to legal age, it didn't really feel that important to me. But caffeine... Yeah, I'm addicted.
But you're never craving alcohol?
No.
No.
I don't think I've ever.
It's like the whole I'm gonna come home and just drink a beer or 6.
I've been making the same joke since I was 16 years old, where I think that's the funniest fucking thing on the planet, dude. If you're a guy who works an 8-hour shift and then you come home, you're like, I just need to sit in front of the TV and crack open a cold. For what? What is one? You're drinking one beer? It's just such a fucking waste of time. And I remember even one time going out to dinner with some work friends, a year-ish ago, and my one buddy literally said to me, he's like, honestly, Case, what's the point of getting one beer with your burger? It's just it's literally pointless.
Sure.
And I'm like, but my brain's also super all or nothing. If I'm drinking, I'm going to get fucked up. I'm not just drinking one to drink one.
And some argue, and if I had anything, that is a form of addiction. That if there's something I would recognize about myself when it comes to alcohol or anything,
all or nothing.
Yes, is that I don't drink. Really, I really don't. Rarely drink. Maybe once a month for real.
Right.
And even then, that's rare. But if I do, I'm all right, boom, we're here. Let's fucking go. And that is almost a form of alcoholism. Is something I've seen. So with that being said, do you think? Is an addictive personality or is relationship with drugs and alcohol, is that genetic? Is that all? Is that your choices in life, or are people more predisposition to that? Whether the funny thing about as I continue to preface this question, the funny thing about things being genetic is that you might get colored hair and stuff like that, and there might be an alcoholic gene that I think we probably do have.
Maybe.
But is that also because you're just around it? If you are formed by someone who has a whatever relationship with whatever drug.
Yeah.
Now you're around this thing. You're probably just more predisposition to do it because it's there.
Dude,
right?
and that's as simple
nature
as it can get. I was just about to say, as simplistic as that is, there's nature versus nurture, right? Like, and to be fair, we were raised around alcohol.
Totally.
Like, a lot. And not in, like, a fucking, like, scary, abusive, like, not, like, violent, like, nothing like that. More just, we grew up, and a lot of people, when I tell them that, like, everyone thinks we have the biggest family ever. We come from a big, big family.
Yeah,
and then on
fair.
top of that, and I mean really specifically like on our mom's side, and then on top of that, not only do we come
both
from
sides.
well, yeah, but I'm talking about who we're like closest with.
Sure.
And on top of that, all of our mom's side, like all their friends are like family. So it's like 40, 50 more people that are like,
fair.
And all of them love to get together. They love getting together, having these big events. Like we were around we would celebrate, oh my god, it didn't rain today. Let's all fucking throw a party just because, like, dude, and then get fucking 20, 30, 40 people in a backyard that definitely we can't fit all those people, but we're going to do it anyway, and just eat a bunch of food and drink and just have a good time. And that was like a very common occurrence growing up, especially like going up the mountains. I would say we were also super exposed to that kind of behavior.
Okay, yeah. So is that like because it was so like comfortable, there's like an argument about, you think about like other countries like Europe or something, right? Like you have like not even kids, but say like Italy and like France. Yeah. There's like countries where drinking is not accepted, but almost like you're gonna drink some at dinner as like a 13-year-old kid,
like
and like
wine,
exactly, and like that's not a big deal, right?
No.
Do you think that because we were around it as young, we didn't have the inclination to like go off the deep end? For example, like I knew a lot of people in high school who were like leash was super tight, and then they go to college and they're doing keg stands and fucking
loose.
and so
absolutely.
Is that a factor, you think?
100%. I think us seeing maybe not the extremes of it, but seeing it so often, I think you do create like, and we're both fairly smart people, so you can kind of create your quote-unquote societal tolerance based off of what other people are doing. So I think we probably even saw, I can think of examples that I'm not going to give right now, but of when drinking became, a little too heavy, and we saw the negatives of that.
I mean, dude, like I said before, like I'm completely open when it comes to addictive personality, bro. When I was from like I was thinking about like the first time I got drunk or something.
Yeah.
I was like 16.
Yeah.
And then from 16 to like 23 maybe. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, if I was drinking or partying or something like that, bro, you know how many times I threw up from drinking? Like, I got sick plenty of times, even later too. And like, I couldn't. You know what's funny now is like, as you legitimately grow up, I couldn't tell you the last time that I threw up from alcohol. It probably was like the story from the first episode. No bullshit. That was probably the last time that I've ever gotten sick. But that is, like I said, you can argue that is a part of like having, a trait that's addictive or something.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to drink every day, but for like when I was, it was like, oh, we're going hard as hell. And that's probably also too like ego, thinking I can handle it all.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking fine, dude.
Yeah.
And just getting absolutely obliterated.
I mean, dude, yeah, you've always been that way. I've only thrown up from drinking genuinely, like I believe I want to say 3 times. Like I've, for some reason, titanium stomach.
Yeah.
Just it's been. We will get into like our first time, like really remember like getting drunk, because that's gonna be fun. But you've always been like that. You know what I mean? Like getting like if you drink too much, like getting sick. And stuff.
I mean, I've also done it from smoking weed too.
Yeah, I like greening out.
Yeah, and like not throwing up, but like I've like knocked out, like that kind of stuff.
Damn,
not good. Yeah. What was the first time? Do you remember the first time you got drunk?
So, the most impactful first time drinking, I would say, is a little bit different than I think my first time drinking. So, like, in terms of getting drunk, it was a very special circumstance. I think we've talked about it a little bit on the pod, but one of my best friends growing up, I actually met through Xbox Live.
Okay.
Yes, we did talk about it a little bit.
12 years old, playing Madden. And 5 years after knowing each other, like, we just kind of jokingly funny enough, exactly around this time, like May.
Okay.
We jokingly were like, dude, like, how fucking cool would it be, like, if you flew out here? Because he had a ton of friends that I was also friends with on Xbox. So, like, I was kind of, like, quote-unquote, like, the odd man out.
Right.
Like, I was the one who lived in Philly, and then all of them lived in Seattle.
Sure.
But I knew all of them, was super close with all of them, played different games with different people, like, different personalities. It's super cool. And we were like, one night, we were just like, fuck it, let's do it. And I flew out to Seattle. First time ever on a flight. First time by myself at 17 years old. Never been on a flight before. Never been on anything. And it was probably one of the coolest trips I've ever had. But specifically, it was in the middle of the week. It was either Wednesday or Thursday night. But one of his buddies, very, very rich.
Okay.
Very, very rich. There's a lot of money in that area. Like, what? Like, dude, like, every single person I met, they're like, oh yeah, dude, we have jet skis. You have jet skis. Like that kind of fucking. Like, there's like 1 billion lakes there. Like, everyone has a lake
where's your
house.
second house at? You know?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Oh, you coming from Philly? Sick. Do you have a summer house on this lake? Or like, no. And I kept answering no very many times. But one of his buddies was like, dude, like, my grandmother's lake house mansion is open, and like, we should invite a bunch of people and have a party. And I was like, dude, fuck yes, dude. I'm 17. I'm in a fucking another state. Who fucking gives a shit? Let's go. So, dude, we get like 30, 40 kids at this house in like an hour. And oh my God, dude, this kid's sweet grandmother is in it had like 4 levels, by the way, like 4 floors, elevator in the middle of the fucking mansion, and his grandmother's on the first floor in her study just reading. While these fucking white toddlers are just getting massacred drunk. Like,
nice.
It was insane.
Nice.
And I just remember my buddy Mike just, like, saying, like, yeah, like, you drank before, right? And, of course, this is in my lying era.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I've gotten fucked up plenty of times. And I probably, like...
I do plenty of alcohol.
I inject that shit all the time. It's like when people say they do weed. You know what I mean? Like, and this dude, we had a 2-liter bottle of Coke, and just a giant bottle of fucking Jameson Irish whiskey.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, fucking drink up. And I literally, like, in the fucking straightest way possible, was having alcoholic bottles just fucking shoved down my throat, like, by these fucking men, basically. And we're all just fucking, and dude, I remember you know when you're starting to really get drunk and you start like salivating, like that, like warm saliva. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you start, like, right before you throw up. Do you know
Okay, sure.
Like that kind of like the like when you like spit.
Yes.
And you're oh no. Yeah, I went up to like the 3rd story bathroom, probably the nicest bathroom I've ever seen in my entire life. Puked my fucking guts out.
Ugh.
And then I literally, to sober myself up, waddled myself in the kitchen through these like 6 people. I'm like fucking shoving people out of my way. They're like, yo, you want a shot? I'm gonna get the fuck away from me. Go up to the fucking water built-in fridge thing, fill this glass all the way up with water, beeline for this outdoor deck, and I'm literally... Funny enough, we talked about earlier, I'm watching my favorite Madden Ultimate Team YouTuber on my phone while just chugging water and trying to stir myself up. And apparently I'd been up there for an hour because then 4 people found me, and Mike was one of them. I was like, Casey, we've been looking for you for fucking ever. What are you doing up here? They're like, are you good? I'm like, I am trying to be good. I am trying to get better. And they're like, no. We're still drinking. And
no.
And, yeah, that was one of the longest nights of my life, but it was so much fun, so worth it. But I know that you have a really funny story.
Dude, funny, my first night getting drunk, I was definitely 16.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
close in age.
The person who got me, legit, actually, R.I.P., Rudy. The first person to, like, really get me fucked up.
Wow.
And the first person to basically force me to smoke weed. I was, like, 16. Was
he a football player?
No.
Oh,
You're thinking
of a different story.
Yeah, well,
different story.
Similar but different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being at this house, like in Ben Salem.
Right.
It was like in the valley or something like that of that place, like Hidden Valley thing. I don't know whose house it was, but I remember playing Ride the Bus.
That's a classic.
Which is a card game.
Can you explain that game to the viewers?
Yeah, Ride the Bus, card game. You get people around the table. Basically, like I believe the first one, like I'm dealing.
Yeah.
Black or red.
Right.
You pick. If you say black and it's red, you drink. That's it. And then as you go around the table, like the next one's like higher or lower. And then it's like in between. And then I forget what the fourth one is, to be honest with you.
No, I know what I can't think of it.
But eventually you end up with 4 cards.
Okay.
And then once you have 4 cards and someone like you put like 6 cards face down,
yes,
and then 1 at the top, and then like those cards in order are like 2, 4, 6, 8, right?
Yeah.
So then if you flip the first 2 cards over, or like 1 is like give, 1 is take, right? So like if I flip over, a 5 and I have a 5 and that's like the give line, I get to give out 2 drinks or whatever the case is to anyone. Speaking of, Denise is trying to get us fucked up right now.
Oh my god,
dude!
Well, I finished this one.
I'll trade you. Can I trade you? Okay. Don't. What is this? What do we have right here? Oh my goodness! Thank you. Cheers, dude.
That's fire. That's fire.
Hey, you're killing it, actually. Yeah, you're actually killing it.
These are so
what
good.
is happening? The person who the biggest lightweight I've ever met is killing it in the bartending scene right now.
I love you. Your heart big as shit.
Insane.
All right.
But I remember drinking watermelon 4 Locos.
Did you hear what she just said?
Yeah, she's setting another timer. I heard her. And I'm starting to slur a little bit. I remember watermelon 4 Locos.
Yeah.
And like I remember that the goal of the people at the table was they were trying to fuck me up. So I was getting all the everything. Dude, and it was like the first time I really it was definitely the first time I get sick as fuck.
Oh.
I'm in this party. I remember going to I remember throwing up like outside.
Yeah.
And then I remember like the funniest thing about the first time is like I remember being in the bathroom and like getting super sick and just hate because dude your whole body hurts.
It's not a great
and
feeling.
I just remember like fuck, like I remember being so pissed off like at myself that like I was in this spot and I was just like, dude, fuck this, like I'm never drinking again, the whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just so mad. I was like just I literally was mad at myself, and that was like the first time and I was like 16, man.
Dude, speaking of which, in terms of like on purpose trying to get someone drunk, we did the same thing to Heasley. Oh my god, it was so funny. We were at my buddy Dan's bachelorette party, and it was like kind of like a bachelorette weekend. Bachelor. I apologize. What am I even? I have no excuse. But bachelor party.
Yeah.
It was like a house weekend situation.
Sure.
Like we got like he got like a really nice, or his brother honestly set up. Bill is the best. He set up this like cool like Airbnb like giant mountain house. Probably maybe near where you were, honestly, just this recently. But we were teaching Bill how to play Rage Cage, and there was like 8 or 9 of us at the table, and we quickly found out that Billy is fucking terrible at bouncing the ball in the cup. Like, he physically could not do it. And so if you are really good at the game, or maybe not bouncing the ball in the cup, but flip cup. So the way where it passes, it's flip. Well, you do bounce the ball, but fuck it. Oh my god, I can't think of the rules off the top of my head. There's bouncing and there's flipping involved.
Yeah.
I just know that flip cup and bouncing are involved, but I think flip comes before the bounce. I think you flip the cup and then you bounce the ball into another one, and then that's what you hand to another person.
Okay.
I think. And we quickly found out that Billy was fucking terrible at flip cup. So if you are really good, so the way it works is if you flip it on the first try, you can hand the ball to anybody on the table, no matter what.
Okay, yes.
But if you fuck up the first time and then you land it, has to go to the person to your left. So me and Ryan said so it would go me, Bill, Ryan, and what we would do is, and then there was like 7 other people, I would land the flip cup and then make Billy drink, and then it would go to Ryan. Ryan would flip the cup, he'd hand it back to me, and we forced Billy to keep drinking. No. It was so oh my god, it was so fucking funny. But we got him and he got so mad at us. He's emotional. He gets upset very fast, and he was emotional. No, it's okay. He knows.
Okay.
But yeah, we got him fucked up really, really fast.
Yeah.
And I think he landed in the death cup, and I think he walked off.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I believe it. The other funny thing too I didn't mention about mine is like, dude, you know how Like if you say you get food poisoning or eat something bad, like you can't eat that, dude. I cannot smell or taste or be around anything watermelon flavored for like the next year, dude.
Dude, everybody says that. Yeah. Like people are like, oh my god, if I even smell
watermelon Four Loko.
If I smell like a Smirnoff.
I actually love
vodka.
Watermelon though.
Oh, so, I love watermelon. But no, that's it because like that smell brings you back.
PTSD, dude.
It brings you right. Do you think if you smelled one now, could you transport to 16-year-old Ryan?
I mean, I guess, yeah. But I feel like I'm thinking like an energy drink. If it's watermelon flavored, I'm cool. Some sort of kiwi watermelon, kiwi strawberry, kiwi watermelon. Is that a thing?
Yeah, you're in there. Kiwi watermelon. I mean,
watermelon kiwi.
Kiwi lime. No,
what
kiwi
is
strawberry.
What does watermelon do? Strawberry watermelon?
Strawberry watermelon. Where does watermelon fit?
It's just too long of a word.
I mean, he's a great player, but like he just, he's kind of full of himself. You know what I mean?
Watermelon?
Yeah, he's a little bit full of himself. He kind of thinks that he's the star, but he shows up late to practice, and he.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a little bit arrogant.
Dude, let's move on to a different drug. I think.
Well, I was going there.
Shoot.
Rather with our experiences with nicotine.
Okay.
Because honestly, at least to me, not fucking many. We kind of grew up, or at least honestly, like I would really say, like my sophomore year of high school. I am Unk according to the internet. I was born in '99, and but my sophomore year in high school.
Damn, you're Unk.
I am Unk. If I'm Unk, you're ultra Unk. Actually, if I'm Unk, you're in the dirt, actually. But rough, is when Juuls. Some of you might not even know what Juuls are.
Juul.
Juul.
Them pods.
Them
Juul pods.
My sophomore year of high school is when those really started popping off.
Vapes are big deal, bro.
Really big deal. And I remember every single person I was friends with, every kid in my grade, immediately started buying them, immediately started doing them, and like I would get offered them. And for some reason, again, with my addictive personality, I know 100% I'd still be doing it to this day if I said yes 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And like that's like what's.
Why do you think you didn't say yes to nicotine?
Because again, I think that I was really in my straight edge era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like, fuck cigarettes, fuck vapes, fuck this, fuck that.
I mean, well, not to cut you off, but like that is like my probably biggest reason of not is being in those party environments and things like that.
Yeah.
Smelling cigarettes, dude, gives me the craziest headache. And I to this day have never touched a cigarette, never will. And nicotine has really just not been my wave at all.
Never.
But yeah.
Did have some hookah experiences.
Yeah, hookah, which is nicotine actually. And I've smoked hookah a few times actually.
Yeah.
Whiteout is actually a hooker.
Is he a hooker?
A hookah enjoyer.
Ooh, that's a good way to
put it.
Back
in the day.
Ooh. Honestly, when I first turned 18, my friends and I, we thought that was like a cool thing to do.
It is a cool thing to do. Because you're 18, you can go somewhere.
Exactly. Finally, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can't go to the club. You can go to the hookah lounge.
Dude, and the thing is, there was one right off,
Street Road.
I'll say it, Red Lion Road, actually.
I don't know. Okay.
A little bit more Philly-ish.
All right.
And, yeah, we would go right to this one. I forget. I think it might be called Luna. Maybe something.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah, no, yes.
And, dude, listen to this. This is how cool the economy used to be. You're 18 years old. You need a cool place to go.
Yeah.
You walk into this fucking super fucking cool fucking atmospheric lounge. All these private seating. You have a DJ, music, lights. $13 a person.
Damn.
That is... What a steal.
That was what, 8 years ago? 18?
Yeah.
You're Unk, 26?
Sad, yeah.
Fuck.
But dude, $13 a per, and you get 2 flavors.
2 flavors of hookah.
That's huge.
That's a big deal.
And the coolest thing about hookah at first was like, you do get used to it, like because, like you would kind of like pull it in or whatever, and like it did like kind of taste like pretty cool. Like it was just, and to be honest with you, there was a bunch of times where when we went, we weren't even concerned with the hookah. We just wanted somewhere to be, somewhere to sit. Somewhere to just that wasn't
for
just,
the vibes.
Yeah, like because
you just want to be around like a nice, vibe curator,
dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We were at the age where like we can't just like none of us had a house where we could just go to just sit.
Sure.
And just like be kids and just like
couple you can drive. You don't want to be home. You're too fucking cool.
Exact. And we were
Hookah
like,
lounge, perfect.
honestly, like I'll spend $13
Sure.
so I can sit down somewhere cool for my fucking Snapchat story and fucking,
bro.
you know what I mean? Like,
blow nose, dude.
Dude, some of my buddies were pretty good at that. I can never get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was so yeah, that was pretty cool. But then I remember we would go like once a month. And then we did that for like 6 straight months. And then there was one time where we didn't go for 6 straight months. And all of us were like, oh my God, you know what we haven't done in a while? Hookah. My first pull of hookah after not doing it for 6 straight months, I immediately got Nick sick. I started fucking like, thought I was going to puke, thought I was going to throw the biggest headache. It was the fucking worst thing in the world. And honestly, the only reason I'd even go there or do it was at least it fucking smelled good. I cannot fucking stand the scent of cigarettes. I also have a weird, strange, traumatic story with cigarettes.
Okay.
We were up the mountains. You might even know this story.
I do know what you're about to say.
We were up the mountains for our family vacation. We would go every single summer, basically, and we were I was in the game room, and we were playing. I was playing foosball actually, and one of the adults that was in there was smoking, and they were like outside the window, and then they must have left like a while ago, and I was drinking a can of Coca-Cola, and so they had a can of Coca-Cola as well, this adult, but they were using it to ash their cigarette. So they had probably finished like half the Coke, and they were ashing their cigarette, and both Cokes were sitting right next to each other. I thought I picked up the right one. I picked up the wrong one, and I fucking drank like cigarette ash. And it was the most vile, disgusting experience ever.
I'm sorry.
And I was so young. I was so traumatized. I was probably like 8. And honestly, at such a young age, I was like, cigarettes are fucking gross. And I just carried that forever. I've never picked up a cigarette. I've never even held one in my hand. Like, ever.
Yeah, same, I think.
Like, literally I've never held one.
Well, actually, that's a lie, because I'm about to tell you when I was like 6.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, dude, shout out to her mom for quitting. She hasn't smoked in like over a decade.
She's such a good.
But when we were younger, like, she did, and a lot of people like said we were around that vibe. And dude, I have a like distinct memory of like when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and it was right around that wiffle ball bat time, and I remember like it was so weird like how you're like this little ass kid and you know stuff's bad,
right?
Dude, I remember going into like she had her purse like in the kitchen or something. I remember going into her purse, grabbing her box of cigarettes out, like going under the table, opening it, and just ripping them all in half on purpose. Dude, she was so pissed at me, but I was like, dude, Mom, you need to stop smoking. You know
You're
what I mean?
so goated.
And I was like 6, dude. Legit, like
That's
6 years old.
crazy.
Which is wild that I even had that into, like, because where was that put in my head from, you know? It's very interesting. That being said, dude.
Honestly, if anything, maybe you were around an adult smoking a cigarette, and you're like, oh, that smells bad. Oh, my mom also has something that looks like that. Oh, I don't want that anymore. Like, it genuinely could have been that simple.
Yeah. I did have some hookah. I mean, my friends did some hookah, whatever the case was. You know, actually, our more recent experience, you know what I tried the other day, dude? Talk about drinking. Inhibition's low. Oh, yeah, sure, whatever. But I popped a Zin. That was interesting. I did.
Not a Zinachino.
I popped a Zinachino.
Not a Monica Lazinski.
Yeah, keep it going. But yes, and
not a
dude,
Zimbabwe.
You know what was the craziest thing about it is I instantly got super Nick high, and I was drunk.
I can't even imagine.
And I started getting pissed off a little bit. And I threw it out, not at the thing, but I felt like I was losing control.
Whoa!
And that is like a thing too. Was probably like why I don't drink. Like talk about like all these like what drugs can do to you, and how like you start to like. I love being in control of myself, rather.
I am hyper control.
And I felt like I was losing like control
From
of this.
nicotine?
Well, it was probably a combination of the fucking, you know.
That's so interesting.
Some drinks too, but it was like that plus that. Yeah. It kind of I just felt like I wasn't in control of the situation. It was like freaking me out a little bit. I had to go sit down for a while.
Dude, I would never expect you to say that you tried a Zin before.
Just you know, what's a prisoner of the moment or some shit. I don't fucking know. Whatever that.
When in Rome, if anything.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Like, you know, it was there. It was available. Dude, I've been me being in like, you know, like technology sales and stuff. Every single sales tech bro that you can think of, literally all of their fucking, like working in an office, every single one of their fucking dailies were exactly the same. A bunch of fucking caffeine, Zins, and fucking, they all love LaCroix. All of you tech bros love sparkling water. You all love LaCroix.
Oh, sparkling water with a
little
drop of flavor in that bitch.
For real. And
I think it's because it fills you up. I think people like sparkling water because it fills you up.
That's a good call. It makes you feel like kind of bloats you, but at least you're not eating food, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But, so I'm actually really shocked at this point that I haven't tried a Zin. But since the last time I smoked hookah, which was probably like over 8 years ago.
Okay.
Or just about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 7 years ago. I've never done nicotine ever.
Okay.
And
never smoked a cigar or anything?
Yeah, so I have. I guess that's super fair. I have puffed a celebratory cigar at a couple weddings.
Which, when done right's kind of nice.
Which,
actually,
when done right, is you feel.
It's kind of nice.
You feel really cool. I felt like
you look cool. You feel cool.
I felt like Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
I
bro.
felt, dude, at Dan's wedding, bro. There's a picture of Dan and I puffing cigars. I have to fucking find it. We look like fucking mob bosses. Oh my god, yeah. But how about you? Did we tell the story about when
Nah, dude. I had
when you didn't puff a cigar?
Listen, so more from my drug and alcohol history.
This guy.
Dude, I smoked a lot of weed. Basically daily.
For a long time.
Like almost 10 years, like legit. From like 16, 17 to like, yeah, about that time. About 26, 27. I'm 29 now. I really don't like, for real, for the most part in life, besides right now, I'm very sober, honestly. So, but I did smoke a lot of weed, and I had a lot of experience rolling everything, right? Yeah. Well, we were working together at Chick-fil-A at the time.
Classic.
And, one of our coworkers, he wanted me to go to this like this benefit, so VFW benefit. It's basically, you go to this like little party thing and they have like baskets and stuff. They're trying to raise money. Yeah. And you throw the raffles in and try to win and stuff like that. And it was me, this guy, and Sir William Johnson was there too.
William Jeremiah.
And shout out, Bill, if you'll see this. So shout you out. We
know you're watching.
So we're there, and the guy we were with, he was like, he puts in for this like raffle for like some like Cuban cigars, bottle of like Johnny Walker Black or some high level shit. Okay. Like, I don't even know what the fuck it is, to be honest with you. But guess what? This motherfucker wins it. So he wins the basket with all this like expensive ass like high class like shit, right? Yeah,
like decent, like yeah.
And we had eaten a lot of food. We were it was kind of like barbecue vibe, eating some ribs and all that kind of good shit.
Very nice.
And so we're there, and he's like, dude, you gotta smoke a cigar with me. You gotta smoke a cigar. I'm like, all right, fuck it, dude, fine. I've never smoked. I literally to this point, besides hookah a little bit, which hookah is like easy because it's just you're pulling it. It's easy. I'd never smoked a cigar in my entire life, so I'm like, okay. So we're there, lighting it up, pulling in, and like you're not supposed to inhale cigar smoke.
By the way, this is also real quick. This is smartest guy in the room, Ryan Lawless, thinks he knows everything. Has been smoking weed forever. He's like, well, clearly I just gotta rip this.
Sure, dude. Yeah. Well, it's also too that even besides that, fair. But the muscle memory is weird. Like it's so I couldn't like figure out how to not inhale the cigar, right? So I smoked I basically was inhaling like half a cigar, basically like a full blown fucking big old stogie or whatever, half a cigar, right?
Terrible.
Now, this was like early in the day. We go to this thing. Now I'm meeting up with my friends at honestly Union Tap.
Classic.
Roosevelt Boulevard.
Northeast Philly trash bar.
Absolutely great time. So I meet up some friends there after this, right? Actually, shout out William Jeremiah drove me there. Pretty sure it dropped me off.
Go?
Yeah.
Question mark?
And and granted, also too, think of this too. I really wasn't. I wasn't even drunk, dude.
How old are we?
22, 23?
22, okay.
22, 23. Yeah. Definitely like well above legal drinking age and stuff like that. I was able to go like bars and shit. So, what?
Pre-COVID, post-COVID. That's the easiest way.
Definitely pre.
then you're probably like you might have been 21,
22, 23, yeah, somewhere around there.
Oh, because
Chick-fil-A days, dude.
Well, yeah, but when you were 23 years old, that's when the pandemic hit.
About to turn 24. I was 20.
False. You're 3 years older than me.
I was born in 96, 2020. Quick math, 24.
I have drunk brain right now.
It's all
Continue.
good. It's all good. So I was definitely 22 or 23, for sure.
Stupid.
Anyway, so I'm at this thing. I meet my friends there. Now, granted, like I said, we were at this thing. I was eating food and stuff. It was good. I did not drink. Like, there was literally, like, no alcohol, no other drugs in my system. But granted, I'd eaten a lot of food, and I just, like, smoked, like, half a cigar.
Did it feel like you smoked half a cigar? Like, did you feel like, did your stomach hurt? Did your head hurt? Like what was the feeling like? Or did alcohol bring that out?
I remember being super like lightheaded.
Lightheaded?
Yeah, just super lightheaded, but I was not like, I didn't feel bad or anything like that.
Right.
And then so we go to this bar. Dude, I remember even ordering Coronas.
Classic.
I drank a Corona, and then like after the first Corona, I'm with like a bunch of my friends. We're in like a circle. We meet up some girls from back there, whatever the case is. We're like kind of talking in a circle and shit like that. And I remember after drinking the first Corona, I was like, something's brewing.
Something's happening.
And what's going on, dude? Like, really, because I was like, all right, I know I'm not drunk, but I'm starting to feel a little weird. And my friend Jake was like, dude, you're getting like real pale, right?
Oh.
So, I'm like, all right, just trying to roll with it. I'm invincible. I can do anything, keep it going. So, order another one. And I just remember, like, we're standing in the circle. This is like Corona number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like, legit. Like, we're talking about 1 beer and a half. I literally was not drunk at all.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is happening, right? Like, I'm just sitting there trying to, like, compartmentalize, like, what is going on? Boom. Out of fucking nowhere, dude. I literally, all in a circle, there's, like, a trash can. You're going to be this unfortunate soul right now. So just imagine, like, trash can behind Casey, like, a foot or two to the left. And I'm standing here. If you're watching, maybe you pull up the actual video for this one.
You have to.
And I just like, dude, it's like all out of nowhere, just, and I literally like turned. I'm like, oh my god, trash can, and you couldn't control it, dude, because it was a different kind of sickness. And I literally just like projectile vomit all over the back of this girl's head that's here, dude. Oh my god. So she's fucking losing her mind. Everyone's losing her mind. Her and all her friends like run to the bathroom and you hear them screaming like, oh my god. The bouncer's like, yo, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here. I was like, you're right. Let me go wash my hands real quick. So I go wash my hands. Oh my god. I'm like, yo, boys, I'm out here. I felt amazing. Because I was this sick off this bullshit cigar, I felt great as soon as I threw up. So now I leave the bar, okay? You still hear them screaming in the fucking bathroom.
Wait, really quickly, isn't there a part of this story? Didn't people like cheer or like
no,
or something like that?
No, that's ladder. That's ladder.
Okay,
That's the
that's people finding out.
Yes.
Got it.
So now, granted, we're not gonna name names, but I went to school with this girl. I did not talk to her at all. She just happened, we're talking like 5 years out of high school, like that kind of vibe, right? Whatever. Had no like no interaction with this woman prior to this.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting outside the bar, dude, after this, right? And I'm like, there's like a bunch of picnic tables outside, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, I feel good, it's great.
Oh, wait, I remember this.
Bro, and this girl, this is all you need to know about her, okay? So I just threw up on the back of this girl's head. After she gets cleaned up and all that shit, all her friends and everything, she comes running out of the bar. She's like, oh my God, Ryan. Oh, she runs up to me. She's like, oh my God, fuck you, whatever. You owe me shots, is what she said to me. I said, oh yeah, I owe you shots. I just threw up on the back of your head. You want a shot right now? I said, all right, bro. And I remember pulling my wallet. I had like $7 in cash or some bullshit. I said, hey, here you go. And then that was it. And
whatever this buys you.
And I'd never seen that girl ever again, dude. That's I had to just wait outside the bar until my friends decided it was time to leave. But that was like getting nicotine sick. And throwing on the back of a girl's head.
We're talking 1 beer?
Like 1.5. Like legit one full Corona and then starting to drink the second one.
That's crazy how much that'll fuck you up.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the only other time I smoked a cigar was at Aaron's wedding, which was a vibe, honestly.
Dude, it's such a vibe.
I learned how to not inhale it.
Dude, you know what? I think just like maybe like through TV or maybe just like through like living life or osmosis or whatever, I knew before smoking my first cigar, I knew it was just a very like puff situation. Yeah. Like you puff it. You do not inhale it. And honestly, thankfully, I did not have the decade of experience of smoking weed every single day to prepare me for that moment.
Sure.
I probably maybe smoked weed like a few times up to that point when I went to Dan's wedding.
Yeah.
Like, not too often at all. I really still don't, like, at all.
Yeah.
Even living in California, you know what I mean? But I remember, like, you really do, like, when you do it right, like, it feels pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a good time.
But I really quickly wanted to touch on this. We wanted this episode to be, a little bit more timely for the viewers. But, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but we were talking about kind of our parents and our parents' friends and, like, kind of, like, their relationship with drugs and alcohol and, like, kind of, like, how it shaped us, like whether, not just on mom's side, but, like, dad's side, too. Like, is there anything that, like, you, like, maybe, like, remember as, like, maybe a positive / or negative memory?
I mean, not really, bro. I just think it's just like you learn like all like I think we talked about it before, and not to continue to harp on it. Like I feel like we've been shown a lot of like what not to do in our lives, and I just think that like knowing what I come from, that the idea that like the potential for alcoholism is always going to be there, and that's why I really stay away from it. That's why I will never let myself become that person who comes home and like has a drink, because I know that I just know what it will lead to.
With repetition.
And can lead to, you know what I mean? Although it's just not drugs and alcohol, you had like, little analogy in terms of like what that looks like coming from knowing you have the potential to be an alcoholic.
Yeah, absolutely. Or not even just to be an alcoholic, to just be like, maybe just like be a piece of shit, or like be anything that you don't want to be, right? So like the story, or like the simple metaphor goes, or analogy rather, is like, a father has 2 sons, right? And the father is a fucking crippling alcoholic, abusive, not good person. And then one son goes to, go into his relationships very negatively, abuses alcohol, abuses the people around him, mentally, physically, whatever. And then he has another son who stays on the straight and narrow and, becomes a great family man and, decides to stay sober and, becomes very successful in business. And a reporter finds these 2 children of the father, and he basically asks both of them, like, hey, like, how come you turned out this way? And both of their answer is because of my father.
Right.
So basically meaning that no matter what card you're dealt, no matter what hand you're given, no matter what life you're given, we can't choose our parents, we can't choose our upbringing, but what we can decide and choose and dictate is our actions and how we decide to progress and pursue life and, hopefully learn more what not to do from negative consequential actions. So that's what I try to, take into my day-to-day. I feel like on both sides of the coin, we've both learned what to do and what not to do. And that's honestly like what makes me really excited to be able to continue the legacy of our last name and continue the legacy of like what my children are going to become and be the example that they deserve based off of that.
That's a good call, brother. That's a good
Thank
call.
you.
I'm reading our notes right here, taking a look into the site. I think talk about caffeine. I think we did kind of miss on a whole world of something that is fucked up and true, like prescription drugs, right? And like what that I talked about in the beginning of like how I understand that they can be addictive, and I believe in the mental health one I did talk about like I was given like Lexapro and shit a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like to think I have a lot of agency over my decisions, and that we have like this great power to like not listen to what is told to us and choose and all those things. But something that's fucked up and sad and really true is you take someone who I have had very painful surgeries, and I've had very intense experiences with a lot of different substances, and it's not a bad way at all. I've not been addicted or anything, but you take something like oxys or super heavy level Vicodin or like something along those lines, and you can see why if someone was in a lot of pain, maybe they had some car accident and a super bad injury, post-war injury, something along those lines, right? And you were just prescribed these heavy-duty pain meds, being told like you can't fix that shit, but Here you go.
You can numb it.
And you can, the other crazy thing, and I literally, for real, swear to God, I had a doctor tell me this to my face, right? Through all this bullshit.
Yeah.
One doctor that when we were in San Jose that I talked to, bro, I feel like I was talking to like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura. That's the best way to explain this guy.
Oh, that's not good.
And I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like explaining like, hey, like this is what's going on, like boom, boom, boom. Because the other fucked up thing about the medical system is that what happens is you're my primary doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wait 3 weeks to talk to you.
Sure.
Hey doc, I got this going on. Boom. Oh, okay. I had to wait 3 weeks to talk to you for 5 minutes for you to refer me to someone else. Okay, cool. Boom. I go to this specialist, wait another 4-6 weeks for real, because this is true with how the appointments are. Even if you're going to like the best of the best medical, right?
Right.
You wait 4 to 6 weeks to talk to someone else, and like, oh, you're having this. Oh, we got to refer you to somebody else. You wait, like, and like, dude, like the mental strain of all that bullshit is so annoying. And by the time I got to that third guy, he's like, oh, you're having blah 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 blah. You're still in this pain. Hey man, I'm gonna prescribe you for. Girl, you are. This is crazy. We are getting
what is
fucked
on the rim
right now. Sugar? What is this? Oh
no,
my
yes
God.
You do. What is it? What is the alcohol?
I ran out of.
Here, I have a coaster for you. Take that one. Malibu and amaretto. This is the last. Yeah, what the?
I'm drunk talking about pain meds right now. Now we're mixing liquor and.
This one's a little different. Still good. I think if we're going in terms of best, we're going 2, 1, 3.
Well, we had 4, so.
4, 1, 2, 3.
4 was first. I thought you said that one was different.
This dude's drunk.
It's 2, 1, 3, 4.
This dude's just saying numbers right now. Dude, he's just saying numbers. I'm going 1, 3, 2, 4.
1, 3, 2.
I think the second one was the best.
Well, you're
2, 1,
biased
3, 4.
to.
No, 2, 1, 3, 4. Anyway.
Shit.
All right, I love
Thank you.
But we were about to get into some shit.
Bye-bye.
Fuck.
Doctors.
Doctor.
So I go to this third doctor, right? And this
Doctor.
guy's like, he's like, you're in pain for this? He's like, dude, I can give you whatever the fuck. I don't even know what the drug was. Let's just say it was Oxy.
Oxy.
Oh, I can give you these. He's like, you want more? I can give you as many as you want. And he literally was saying it like that too. And I'm like,
Oh, I don't like that.
I'm like, bro, what the
Whoa.
fuck is going on?
Settle down.
Dude, I've been prescribed so much medicine that I've never taken. Like, not even kidding. Like, I've been prescribed to pick it up and throw it out. Thankfully my insurance is pretty good and I don't have to pay for it, so I just like and I don't say like throw
Shout
it out,
out.
but it's like, dude, I all that being said,
Yeah.
thankfully I do not have an addictive personality.
Yes.
But I completely understand how fucked up and how, like, you know, although I believe that you can make your own decisions, like there is a big part of me that almost, you know, when people say like they suffer with addiction and like that, like, you know, you should be better than blah, blah, blah. You can make it like,
Right.
yeah, you totally can make your own choice and do that. But there is a big part of, at the end of the day, man, if you are like a common person, right? Like as we are, and you just go, you not do what you're told, but all you can do, man, I go to the doctor. Who the fuck am I to think this guy's lying? Not even lying to me, or giving me the wrong information or something like that.
Yeah, this dude went to school for fucking 7-8 years, and he's telling me I should do this for the betterment of my health. Who am I to say no?
And then you get prescribed oxycodone, which is literally heroin in a pill. And now you're like, holy shit, this worked. Boom, I'm not in pain. This is fantastic. You take one, boom, now you're hooked. And you know, it's really like, you know, it's really sad, and this is actually a great bridge for maybe in the next episode, and we really will talk about in the next episode about, you know, my experience with psychedelics,
right,
and how profound and how like great they are to change those kinds of things about you. And I think that like people with addiction should, and that's an off tangent too, but I really just want to hammer home how fucked up it is that these medical companies, you know, like, hey, fucking free Luigi, because like I get it, man. I literally do, with my personal experience I've talked to so many doctors that I'd never want to talk to a doctor ever again. And it's fucked up and sad how like greed and how like literally prescribing people drugs that will hook them and also lead them to other shit. Like, you know, I think I have a very strong will, and I do, but I genuinely do feel for people that get hooked on things and are addicted, and like who knows where it leads, man, to where you might take your life for it, because like it's fucked up. And these medical companies, like, you know what they do, bro? You know what they do? Oh, you got caught? Oh, cool. Here's a $1 billion fine or whatever the case is. $1 billion fine for $1 trillion company, and like just keep it moving, and they don't care.
Bro, it's fucking pennies. You know what I mean? And it's like, and a lot of these times too, like when people try to sue healthcare companies, or they try to take these guys to court for like, you know, like whether it be like family deaths or whatever, a lot of times they'll be like, listen, like, here, let's just keep this off the books. Let's keep courts out of this. Here's a $15 million settlement. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Sign this NDA. Keep your mouth shut and keep it moving. And it's like, it is insane. But real quick, I do have this question for you. And Ryan, are you cool if we if I present you a new segment sponsored by Denise's bar?
A new segment?
Mm-hmm.
Stop. I'm so ready. Let's do it.
So the segment is healthcare companies fucking people over.
Okay.
How would you say, in your experience, what you've noticed, like how easy do you think it is in this like day and age to not only receive prescription drugs, but how do you think that, you know, they're consistently getting away with people becoming drug addicts and then basically saying, oh, it's not our fault that they decided to take it, even though they're the ones prescribing it to them?
So how easy do I think it is to obtain it?
Yeah.
I think it's extremely easy. You know, I think if you talk about, like 12-year-olds and shit, and these little ass kids get either prescribed like Ritalin or like Adderall. I think that's like the biggest one, right? Because you're already, disregard like the heavy pain pills and shit.
Yeah.
You're already like getting somebody accustomed and thinking that this is normal, right? And that opens up a whole door for a different topic, which is probably too hot for us at this moment. But how when you get people used to thinking that you need to take something that someone is telling you, or that you're not the way you're supposed to be. And I think that those kinds of things go hand in hand.
That's a good call.
I think those go hand in hand, and I think that
like, oh, you're not normal. This will make you normal.
Yeah, dude. We need to put you on you're depressed. Oh, you clearly need blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, not even to say that they don't work or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, oh, you're anxious. We're gonna give you this, you know, the SSRI is what it is, right? They're gonna give you this Lexapro or whatever because you're anxious and you can't handle it. It's like you're always masking the problem and you're not addressing the source. And you're also, like I said, you're normalizing this behavior. So now guess what, bro? That person who's hooked on whatever fucking anxiety medication, they break their elbow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts. Oh, okay. Here's fucking oxycodone.
Yeah.
Because you are now predispositioned to always think that this doctor has your best interest in mind. And they fucking don't, bro.
And not only that,
they don't.
But your predisposition, like your predetermined thinking is like, oh, when I have problem, pill.
Yes.
And you said such a great point about masking it. Like, dude, struggling with fucking depression and anxiety and fucking suicidal thoughts and like struggling with these fucking, like, dude, you know what fucking cured me and saved me? Fucking things that were already built from fucking just human ground up, just designed to make you feel better. Sunlight, 10,000 steps a day, working out, exercise, physical exertion, like these things that like literally boost your serotonin levels naturally and make you feel better. Finding your passions, putting your time and effort into not fucking scrolling on your phone for 10 to 12 hours a day. Like putting your time and passion into what we're doing right now. Like these things that it's so fucking easy for these guys to make money because they know that people will just listen to them instead of saying, hey, like, how often are you going outside? How many steps are you taking a day? Are you drinking enough water? Yeah. How is your diet balanced? Like, do you have enough social time? Like, dude, like, even the time that you and I are spending right now is so good for our health.
Yeah. I feel fantastic, by the way.
Alcohol excluded.
Not alcohol related, but
like, no, but like us spending time together, connecting, like learning, speaking, like picking each other's mind. Like this is the type of shit that is going to keep the depressive and anxious like thoughts away, like doing shit that you're passionate about, and not only doing it what you're passionate about, but doing it with people that you're passionate about, doing it with people that you care about. And it's so fucking easy for these companies to take advantage of these mentally like unfortunately like they become like weak, like mentally weak people, just saying, oh, like you have all these problems, here, you take this pill for that, you take this pill for that, and then before you know it, they might start finding ways to get pills without that doctor's
100%.
approval. They might start finding like ways to get like, dude, like
bro, you know how many doctors have gotten in trouble and arrested for like
yes.
illegally selling these drugs too out of their back door? Which
dude,
is crazy. That's a whole other thing.
Dude, not only that, dude, but again, like, we've talked about it a few episodes ago, like, how, like, I'm a big fan of, like, professional wrestling. In my opinion, one of the best wrestlers, professional wrestlers of all time, Kurt Angle, like, his nickname, unfortunately, in the mid-2000s was Perk Angle. This dude broke his fucking neck, won an Olympic gold medal, and then consistently got hurt throughout his professional wrestling career, and then got into painkillers from other wrestlers who were taking them, and was taking 15 to 20 opiate pills a day.
Yeah.
And to the point where he said there's a lot of his career he does not remember because of the amount of medication that he was taking. And, like, it just, he says, like, you know, he's been sober, I think, for, like, at this point, like, over 10 years. He's like, but it, you know, there were so many points where he was so close to death, so close to, like, because of just what they could do, like, find cardiac arrest, like, all of this shit, dude. And you find these people who are in these weaker mindsets who will do anything to where, wait a minute, this doctor's not prescribing me enough pills, I gotta find it fucking elsewhere. He said he was paying $15,000 to $20,000 a month from Mexico to fucking have pills shipped to his door.
Holy shit.
Dude, it is fucking
That's actually crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a wild
what
thing.
people go through, and honestly, like, hearing stories like that, like, having, honestly, like, I'll just be honest with you, having deaths in our own family from drug overdose. Like,
multiple.
Yeah, multiple. You become, like, more sensitive and more aware of it. And it's just, it's terrible how these companies are taking advantage of people. And honestly, fucking shout out Free Louis.
Bro, you ready for this angle too, man? And the craziest thing about all that shit is, and like we will, like, the psychedelics will come into the next episode. Yeah. You think about things like marijuana and like psychedelics, like things like psilocybin and shit, and these like natural ways. How crazy is it? This ready, bro? These things we're talking about. Yeah. How fucked is it that in our head, even alcohol, like besides like fruit expiring. Alcohol is not derived naturally. It needs to go through a process. Yeah. All of these drugs that we're talking about, these pain pills, they are not natural. They need to be extracted and like put into something like opium, for example. Yeah. Opium flowers, they boom, boom, boom. Now things get into a pill. The irony with all of this, which makes me question so many things. Of course. We'll get into how is things that are natural, that grow out of the ground, those are the things that are demonized and banned and everything when you have pharmaceutical companies playing God, saying that, like, hey, you need this drug that we manufacture in a lab. Get a load of this guy. I'm just kidding. And not that, like, good things have not come out of it, right? You know, there's a lot of like, you know, obviously there's a lot of great drugs that have come from science and things of that nature. But for sure. But when you add that element of greed and corruption to like what these companies do, and like how trillions of dollars is not enough, and now you have a whole fucking culture of humans that don't know any better, and you can't even blame them because they were just doing what they were told, are now hooked on shit that is going to literally end their lives. And end their lives, they have kids, they're in a shitty spot, it's going to like progressively end their kids' lives, because not even if those kids do drugs or not, but because now you're in such a shitty situation from this in the whole. Oh my god, it's so fucked. Love you, mom, because our mom was like the anti fucking don't take things, boom, 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 boom. And like again, it's so many. So you know we've talked about it, but it's so funny how like things that like she did say about that, like we were like, what are you talking about? And then as I'm older, bro, even the thing, you know, talking to people, not taking things, boom, boom, boom. As I'm older, it's so crazy how, in all of her crazy love, how some of that shit makes sense. Dude, genuinely, she's so goated. In our mental health episode, when you asked me about, like, you know, like when I was talking to therapists, talking to counselors about like my depression and stuff, if I was ever like prescribed anything, how my literal answer was no, I don't want anything, because my mom told me that medication's fucking stupid and fucking pointless. And I'm so fucking thankful now, because who fucking knows if I'd still be taking something like Zoloft, or I'd be taking something like fucking like I'd rather be crazy.
What's another one?
Lexapro.
Yeah, Lexapro.
That was when I was prescribed.
Yeah, I'd rather be fucking insane, and you know what? It's worked out pretty well for me. So, yeah, shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Mom. Dude, we've been telling stories kind of all over the place, man. It's coping mechanism. Alcohol has its place. You can have fun with it.
Yes.
I thankfully, like I said, I think I've been blessed that I've had an experience with so many of these different substances that I don't feel an addiction to any of them. Mm-hmm. It sounds like cocaine. We were actually talking about cocaine a little bit earlier.
We were.
That's one of them. I don't think I ever need to. I don't need to partake, and it's all good.
California, you guys for some reason love cocaine.
I'm in love with the coca.
Banger. First 3 weeks I moved here, I was asked 3 times to do coke, and then in my previous 23 years of living, I was asked a grand total of 0 times. So. For some reason, Californians have an affinity for the booga sugar, as Kevin Hart calls it.
Yeah.
Smack.
I know what you're doing out there.
but yeah, that's just not something that I've ever had an affinity for, ever had an interest in it. Don't really get it. But what I will say is to maybe close this one out a little bit is I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned probably a half hour ago, but then we just kind of got into other shit. How you said that how you said that if I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna get fucked up. How that could be technically a
symptom of addiction.
A symptom of addiction. And you know it's funny, I've never really thought about it like that, because you asked me do you ever want to have a taste for alcohol? And no, I've never. It does not matter what day it is. I've never woken up and be like, oh my God, I need to get fucked up today. And honestly, even if I've thought about it, it doesn't happen.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Even if I've thought maybe I'll go out tonight. Maybe I just don't. You know?
Right.
Not because I don't want to see my friends. I just don't give a shit enough to drink.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about the whole all or nothing feeling of drinking being a symptom of addiction. So, where'd you hear, or what makes you think that? And I'm just kind of curious about your thought process on that, because that's genuinely very interesting. I've never thought about that being quote unquote an addictive side of it.
Yeah, I mean, no lie, it's not even how you read random things and they just stick in your brain.
Yeah.
I was just reading a form, I feel one time it was talking about how different types of addiction and how alcoholism was shown in different ways.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's true, and I think the reason why is we're all made differently, but I have this I don't fall into peer pressure. I have a great will to say no to things. If people ask me to go places, say no. But I'll tell you what though, and my friends can definitely attest to this. If I say I am going and I'm there, we're all in this shit. Night. We're in this shit, right? So I think that is it's just once it's rolling, it's hard for me to just be it's time to stop. And
I agree.
And I think that if thankfully I'm not a fighter or anything like that. I'm not getting drunk and beating people up or anything.
Ooh, this could be really. I know we maybe want to get out of here, dude. This is the different types of drunks I think are so funny. I'll talk about it with my girlfriend all the time, but you got the criers. You got the lovers.
I'm a talker.
You got the talkers. You got the fighter. I'm a lover. Oh, my God. When I get drunk.
I love you, man.
Dude, when I get drunk, you can ask any of my best friends this. I probably pulled them all in, probably as close as almost kissing them.
Yeah.
Telling them, dude, Brendan, I fucking love you, man. You are the fucking... And, dude, I'm talking like this. Brendan, man, I fucking love you, man. So dude, you've been there, man. And then, honestly, it's the same thing, but with Denise... Denise could be standing right behind me, and I'll ask the person close to me, where is my girlfriend? I need to talk to my girl. I love my girlfriend. Where is Denise? I need to know where she is right now.
That is you.
Dude, I am such a lovey-dovey. I want to tell everyone how I appreciate them. I want to tell... And then, dude, I just have some buddies. I guess I won't name names, but, dude, they will just cry.
Okay.
And, just get really emotional. Nobody loves me, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then I also have buddies who I've met here and then who are also back home who the touch of alcohol touches their tongue. Yo, Case, let's fucking box right now. Yeah. Case, you won't fucking square up with me right now? No, but just as bros, though. You won't fucking square up with me. Yeah. And I just think that's so, and then angry drunks, oh, my God. I try to stay away from them
Dude,
as fucking much as possible.
As you've been, D1 Yapper over here.
Classic.
And I've probably portrayed it in this episode right now. If I'm drinking, that is the time where, like, bro, we're in a room, dude, and I got people around me. I'm taking control, and you're gonna listen to me rant about whatever the fuck I decide to rant about. That is the kind of drunk that I am for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome, man. At least you're not trying to beat anyone up.
No.
It could always be worse.
Nah, we're here. We're here to. I gotta bitch about some, Actually, let me stop. I'm here to start ranting about, whatever's going on, but
dude,
that's kind of where I'm at, man. We titled this episode, just where we threw it on the notes, like relationships with drug and alcohol.
Yeah.
Man, I think it's fun, man. I think I don't really know what we talked about all over the place. I do know, but I also know, as we were going through it, I'm like, all right, we're going.
Nah, we were cooking.
Where's the ship landing?
Nah, we landed.
We landed.
We landed. We were cooking.
Fair enough.
But you know what? I'll tell you this, man. We are definitely going to catch you in the next one. It'll actually be episode 1 of season 2. This was the season 1 finale.
Okay.
And we're going to wrap this up here. This was the Lawless Brothers Radio podcast. My name is Casey.
And I'm Ryan. And
peace.